Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhusya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Loudly talk. First of all, I would like to thank you all and congratulate for being here as audience to hear this sacred literature, Srimad Bhagavadgita, and of course, I'll also be mentioning about Bhagavatham here and there. First of all, Srimad Bhagavatam also congratulates and acknowledges the importance of audience of such a sacred literature. It says, Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santi Sahasrashaha Apashyatam Athma Tatvam Griheshu Grhamedhinam. Because in this material world, there are hundreds and thousands of subject matters for hearing, reading, watching. Uh, Everybody is busy. And so, but here one point is brought to our notice. The reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami, he is congratulating the audience and at the same time he is saying, Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedhinam. Usually we carry on with our lives, not really even thinking or trying to understand what is Atma Tattva. And so that we have to start off with. So what is Atma Tattva? Why is it relevant to us? And Bhagavad Gita is talking about this whole Atma Tattva. So who is this Atma, right? The $1,000,000 question. Everybody asks, yet nobody knows. It always eludes us, and it's not just now. Even from bygone ages, it's not an easy thing to understand. And Lord Krishna also talks about it in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Ashcharyavat pashyati kashchidenam, Ashcharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyah, Ashcharyavat chainam anya shrunoti, Shrutva pyenam vedana chaiva kashchitu. That means some look on this soul, Atma, as amazing. Some describe him as amazing. Some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, are not able to understand him at all. So it's not easy. But now we are here to hear about Bhagavad Gita, which is very special because of all the Vedic literatures, Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas. This Bhagavad Gita, which is also known as Gita Upanishad, was entirely spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. So this sacred sound of Bhagavad Gita is actually non-different from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. We will see why it is so. So, Shrinvatham Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto hi abhadrani vidhanoti suhritsatam. When we hear about Sri Krishna, when we hear about his words, what he has spoken, immediately we will feel very happy in the heart, and all the dirty things in the heart will start getting cleansed. So that is the immediate benefit we get by hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So this Srimad Bhagavad Gita is obviously one of the most famous and popular Vedic literatures, and so many acharyas have given their commentary. So we can understand it better. And Shankaracharya himself has composed what is called as Gita Mahatmya. So this Gita Mahatmya glorifies and is showing to the world how great this Srimad Bhagavad Gita is. And so before starting the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I'll just read out a couple of points from this Gita Mahatmya. composed by none other than Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. So, because Vedas are so vast, Vedas are like ocean. And where do we start understanding the Vedas, right? Ocean, we get lost. There is no way one can come out successfully swimming out of the ocean. So we're sure to get drowned in the ocean of Vedic knowledge. So in order to make it easy for us to understand, this Gita Upanishad was given by Lord Sri Krishna, especially for those Kali Yuga souls like us. So Shankaracharya is saying, Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. This Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads, it is just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, he is anyway famous as the cowherd boy Gopala. So what is he doing? He is milking this cow called Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna is a calf. He is there to drink this cow milk. And learned scholars and all great devotees of the Lord are also like Arjuna. They are also very eager to drink this nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So that means he is already churning this milk ocean of Vedas, and what the cream that comes out, that is Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna has very kindly given us the essence of Vedas and Upanishads in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. In this present day, especially in this Kali Yuga, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, one occupation, right? Who has the time and energy to worship so many gods or understand all about them, all the so many rituals, multifarious rituals, which is also connected, associated with those gods. So everybody wants one God. So then that is why this Bhagavad Gita has been given. This Adi Shankaracharya is saying, Ekam Shastram, only one scripture is enough. That is Devaki Putra Gitam. There are so many Gitas, one may say, but this specifically is the Gita that was spoken by Devaki's son, Lord Sri Krishna. And let there be one God for the whole world, that is Sri Krishna. Then let there be only one mantra, Namaniyani. Whose Nama? Lord Sri Krishna's Nama. That let that be just one, this mantra. So he's saying, and Karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva. Let there be only one karma. What is that best karma one can do? One karma is serving this Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. This is the verdict of Adi Shankaracharya. So with this note, I think we can start today's session. As I was saying, in today's day and age, everybody is so busy in this Kali Yuga. So how do we start understanding? Where do we start from? Right? About Athma. So, and why should we at all understand, right, about Athma? Where we have our own several duties to take care of, and everybody is very busy with their own lives. But Bhagavad Gita is saying, wait a minute, it's not that we are doing a favor unto anybody else. We have to do this for our own good. Nate vidus swartha gatim he Vishnu durasaya ye bahirarthamana. Srimad Bhagavatham is saying, Prahlada is saying, we don't know that to attain Lord Vishnu it is for our own benefit. It is our goal. We don't know that. And that is, setting that aside, we are actually running behind all the other external things. Now, why are they saying everything else is external? Only this Atma and our seva to Supreme Lord is what is really that matters to us. So Krishna is saying, okay, what is in a day's time, if we look at the activities, what all we do, right? First of all, we go to work, then we go to work to earn money, and that earning of the money is for actually to feed our stomach, belly, and feed our family. Basically, to feed the body for the upkeep and maintenance of the body. Okay, that's fine. That's required. Nobody is contesting that. And then, of course, for us to be happy, we need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to have some recreation. All that is there. But if our entire life becomes only all about this, what do the Shastras say? They say, Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maithunam Cha Samanyametat Pashubhi Naranam. That means what sets us aside as human beings from all other living entities is only one thing. Dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samana. Eating, sleeping, getting byproducts or babies, and sleeping, eating, sleeping, and defending or fighting. These are the four basic principles of life, which is outlined in all Shastras. In any species of life, it could be birds, bees, animals, um, even microbes, they all do these four things. These four principles is common, which is eating. One way or the other, maybe we are sitting in a nice um, home or apartment and we cook really nice delicacies, eat. But the animals are also eating. In whatever way, in whatever form is palatable to them. Animals, all species, eating, sleeping. We are also sleeping maybe on a cozy bed. They are also sleeping in their own nests. Then mating or producing babies, we are doing, they are also doing. Then fighting or defending. We may have sophisticated weapons, and we may be even geared up for world wars. That's okay, but the principle is the same. All the living entities are also fighting, defending. So, what is it that sets us aside? So, all the technological advancement, whatever we are so proud of in today's day and age, everything comes under these four categories, either directly or indirectly to support these four principles. Nothing more than that. But the only thing that sets us aside as human beings is dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho. To understand dharma, what is dharma? So that is why it is most important. But in Kali Yuga, which is the nature of Kali Yuga, that has become the least important and practically forgotten. And then I'm coming to Atma Gnana, right? So why should we know at all about Atma Gnana? So Krishna is saying, Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. So who are we in this body, right? So when someone asks us the question, who are you? So the immediate response will be like, I'm so and so. I'll say I'm Sowmya. I may say my educational qualification. What am I working? Where am I working? I belong to such and such a family or caste. These are all the identities or designations. But that is all actually connected to our body, really, right? The name that was given to me was actually at the time of the birth of this body. So even common sense, tells us that anybody, even a small child, will say, "This is my hand. These are my eyes. This is my nose, right? My hands, my body." So that means I am not this body, right? Then who am I? So Krishna is saying, Indriyani Paranyahu. So basically, we are only trying to, if we really try to understand and analyze from morning till evening, we are mostly trying to satisfy our indriyas or senses. So, eyes, nose, tongue, the skin. There are karmendriyas and gnanendriyas. Then there are hands, legs. So basically, the eyes want to see something nice. So we try hard to, make that happen. We want to see nice things. Then we want to hear nice things. Ears want to be satisfied that way. We want to taste nice things. Oh, this is really big, right? Everybody wants to taste nice, palatable delicacies, and so on. So this technically is called Indriya Trupti. So we are trying to satisfy our indriyas, either for seeing, hearing, touching, eating, right? So then, okay, if this is all about indriya trupti, then how are we satisfied? So then Krishna says, next level. First is indriyas, the senses. Next level is indriyebhya param manaha. Next level is manas or mind. So then we feel, the emotions come into play. I may like something, I may not like something, I may feel this is good or this is bad. I may feel happy or I may feel not so happy. So these are all coming from the mind. So mind is higher than the indriyas. It's because indriyas they're just all about eating, seeing, and there is nothing higher to indriyas or senses. The next little higher is mind. At least mind has some emotions. But Krishna is saying, yes, mind is higher than these indriyas or senses. So we are trying to satisfy the mind also. Because if after eating nice things, seeing or hearing good things, if the mind is not satisfied again, where is the question of happiness? We are not happy. So then comes higher than or more subtle than the mind is buddhi or intelligence. So now indriyas we can perceive, right? It is very easy. Oh, my tongue is demanding now. I want to eat something nice. So I'm trying to satisfy my tongue's demands. Then my eyes want to see something nice. So we can directly perceive all this. We don't need any evidence or proof. Right? It is physical. We can directly perceive it. Next comes mind. We may not be able to see the mind, but nobody can deny the existence of mind because it is the mind which is helping us perceive everything. This is good, this is bad, this is nice, this is not nice. All emotions are coming from the mind. The thoughts are coming from the mind also. So mind has now, it is a little higher, it is more subtle. Then comes intelligence. Little more subtle than that. It is more difficult to perceive intelligence. Manasastu para buddhi. But what is the role of intelligence? If there was no intelligence, if it was only mind, then there will be no sense of discrimination. Why should I do this? Why should I not do this? All the reasoning, the rational, everything comes from intelligence. So intelligence is slightly higher. So intelligence is different from the mind. It has a different rational functionality also. So after intelligence, yo buddhe paratastu saha. Then higher than intelligence is this Atma or spirit soul. And then who are we? We are that Atma. And where is this Atma? How can we understand this Atma? Right? We may ask for proof. But everything we can use our intelligence to perceive. Even in the scientific community, not everything can be proven by showing us atomic and particles which are less than an atom, pre-atomic. They cannot be seen. But phalena parichayate, because they are producing a certain effect, we are able to understand, okay, it exists. Atoms are there, electrons are there, right? Subatomic particles. Electrons uh, because when electrons fall from one energy state to another energy state, there is a whole energy released. So scientists are able to show that. Similarly, even though soul we cannot perceive directly, but in many ways we are able to see its effect, see its presence and understand. And it is a no-brainer, everybody can perceive. Krishna says, Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. So this soul is there inside our body. Because this soul, it is pervading the whole body. Because it is pervading the whole body, we are conscious of our body. If somebody comes and pricks us, even from the back, oh, suddenly we can understand somebody is pricking us. Even from the back, or even when we are sleeping. Why? Because we are conscious of every part of our body. Why are we conscious? Because this body, actually speaking, it is made up of just a bhumi, apo, nalo, vayu. That means earth, water, air, all these elements. Or even in terms of science, some chemical compounds. What chemical compounds can perceive? If chemical compounds could perceive that somebody is pricking them, then even this sofa should be able to perceive. If I pinch it, it should feel the pain. If I pinch this laptop, it should feel the pain. No, because there is nobody in there, no person there. In this body, however, there is that person. Who is that? Atma, spirit soul. That is why, because, and this is compared like, how even though sun is there in one place, rays of the sun is spreading throughout the universe or throughout the sky, it's illuminating. And similarly, even though this spirit soul is there in one place in the body, the rays from this soul is spread out throughout the body. That is why throughout the body there is the effect of the soul. That means the consciousness is there. We are conscious of our body. So that is how. Yeah. Then, so this soul is indestructible. Krishna is saying, Vinasham abhyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. So this soul is completely different from this body. However, we understand this body because now we know the body dies, right? But the soul remains. If that were not to be the case, then what is the point, right? Of even observing that ceremony, that is all that is done for the Atma who has left the body. And we know that, that way at least that person is continuing to exist. If we were to be just this body, then as soon as this body is dead, we are gone, right? It's very difficult to accept it, right? We all want to live forever. Who doesn't want to live forever? Who doesn't want to be happy? Why do we want to be happy? Nobody asks that question. It is obvious everybody wants to be happy because that is the nature of the soul. And why is it the nature of the soul, right? Anandamayo Bhyasa, that is the nature of the Supreme Lord. He is always Sat Chit Ananda. That is his very nature. He's never unhappy. But we are also tiny parts of the Supreme Lord. As you all can see, I'm quoting so many shlokas, right? Why should I quote? It is very important. Just like in a court, how a lawyer, if he has to make his case, nobody will take him seriously. If he were to say, I think this may be the case, I think maybe this person has committed the murder or that person. Any claim the lawyer makes, he has to justify, quoting authorities. So my only qualification that I'm sitting in front of you all and speaking this is that I am not changing the words. of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Whatever is written in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, as presented by Acharyas, I am repeating it. Otherwise, personally, I have no qualification. Who am I? I have not studied all the four Vedas or all the Upanishads and the Puranas. And how can I understand all this? I can only understand because whatever our acharyas have presented and whatever this Bhagavad Gita is saying, I am able to repeat it. If anybody were to make any claim, we should also have some discretion because nowadays just about anybody and everybody they speak. There are public forums, it's all there is free speech, all that is there. But how do we know who is speaking the truth? Right? How do we know? If somebody is repeating the words of the scripture, that is good. That is good enough for us. Because Vedas are called Apaurushaya. Vedas have never been created. It has never come into existence, nor will it ever cease to be. Just like the Supreme Lord, just like all of us, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna tells Arjuna, because now Arjuna, he starts lamenting that, oh, I have to kill all these great people, my own gurus, my acharyas, right? My own kinsmen, my own cousins, friends, they're all just on the other side, but they're all my own people. Oh Krishna, you're asking me to kill them? How is it possible? So Krishna is saying, Ashocyan anvashocastvam pragnavadamshcha bhashase. You are lamenting for something which is not worthy of lamenting. Because why? The soul doesn't die. He is always existing. And he's saying, Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarvevayam atahparam. Never there was a time where me, Krishna is saying, you, Arjuna, and all these people, not just people, all the living entities, we have always existed and will always continue to exist. So don't worry, we are not going to die. It's only the body that has died. Only the body that has died. So, I mean, so far, if anybody has any questions, you can interrupt me. Or if I can go forward.
Yeah, go forward.
It is little, it is philosophical. It's not little, but this is the basis for understanding everything. So I'm trying to, today's topic I'm trying to delve on Athma Tatva. What is Athma? If we don't know what is Athma, it cannot even go forward. Should I proceed the same?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Am I not boring?
Very interesting.
Okay, I hope so. Okay, so what was I saying? So Krishna is saying there never was a time where I did not exist, both past, present, and future. In future also, eternally, we will all continue to exist. He's saying clear, loud, and clear. Now that gives us so much reassurance, right? We are never going to die. We are only going to change bodies. And Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanam. We are all his fragments or parts. Krishna is like the big fire, we are like small sparks of fire. He's saying, they're all my own fragmental portions, Sanatana, eternally so. And that is why, let's say, even if we were to analyze a spark of fire with the big fire, it will be the same. Constitution is the same. But it's just that a spark cannot light up a whole house or burn down a whole forest like the big fire. Spark is tiny. It's in quantity and in its power. So similarly, we are also tiny sparks. But we have the same qualities as the Supreme Lord. That means he's always happy. We should also be always happy. Sat, Chit, Ananda. These are the characteristics of the Supreme Lord. Sat means always existing, right? We just saw, yes, we are always existing. We are never going to die. That's good news. Chit, he is completely full of knowledge. We are also full of knowledge. May not be as much as him, but at least we also are full of knowledge because that is the nature of the soul. Nature of the soul is not to be ignorant. And Satchit Ananda. He's always happy, and we're also. We should be always happy. Then why aren't we happy? Okay, are there anybody here that may claim that no, I'm always happy? But Krishna is saying Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. We are not always happy. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. I'm talking about, see, we have not even perceived that kind of happiness, so we don't even know what is that happiness. That happiness that I'm talking about is unending, unlimited, uninterrupted. So we have never seen that. Unending, uninterrupted. Ananda means you can never be sad. So why are we sad? Sometimes, many a times. So this material world is created in such a way that Krishna is saying Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. I'm not saying. He's the creator. When somebody manufactures something and they give a manual along with it. So who knows better than the manufacturer how the system works? So the Supreme Lord is the manufacturer and he's saying this world is Ashashvata. It's not eternal, temporary. That means sometimes it comes into existence, sometimes it's not there. Similarly, even as our bodies, sometimes we are born. The minute we are born, that means there is an expiry date also. When there is a manufacturing date, there is an expiry for everything. And Krishna says that Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. So that means, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanudarshanam. Nobody can claim they are completely happy because of these reasons. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Yeah, we all think that these are all natural, right? Part and parcel of life. But there is so much trouble that goes on there. Krishna is saying, one should learn to see that, oh, this is dukkha. When we understand, then we'll know, okay, then how should I become happy? How should I become happy? Completely happy, fully happy. So that is also said that, bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bhihi. Everything is happening because of our ignorance. We don't know who we are. So we don't know that we are the soul. So, like I was saying, every day from morning to evening, we are working either to satisfy our senses or the body or the mind or maximum the intelligence. So the intellectuals, they mostly work on the intellectual platform. Who are the intellectuals? Mostly in today's society, they may be the poets, philosophers, scientists. Uh, these are the kind of philosophers, intellectuals. So they are mostly in the intellectual platform, using their intelligence. Then most of us will be either in, using our senses or our mind maximum. Little bit intelligence here and there. If we are always engaged in this, then we are not really taking care of the soul. What about the soul? So, a famous example is given that a bird, let's say we put a bird in a golden cage and we are taking care of the cage so nicely. We maintain the cage so nicely. Every day we are dusting it and then maybe getting it repainted and, making it more decorative and beautiful. But nobody is taking care of the bird. The bird is crying for food. But if we are only taking care of the cage and not really feeding the food for the bird is definitely not happy. Same thing with us. The bird is likened to this Atma or the soul which is within our body. It is inside the heart. And this body is like the cage which is holding that soul inside it. And if we are mostly taking care of the body for years and years and all day, but it's the soul that is ultimately not being fed. It's food. What is the food for soul then? Right? That we have answers for everything in Shastra, in Bhagavadgita, Bhagavatham. There is no dearth there is of knowledge. There is answers for everything. In Bhagavatam, clearly it is said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. So this is called Navavidha Bhakti. Bhakti is what is really the food for soul. Why? Why is bhakti the food for soul, right? Of course, I'm giving everything in a nutshell because I want to touch upon most of the topics. So there is a popular story from the scriptures. Once it so happened that all the parts of the body they became very unhappy. They were competing with the belly. They were so envious of the belly. They said, we are doing all the hard work, the hands, the legs. We work so much hard and make earn. Okay. Maybe later I'll tell.
Later you can
because this will
Jayashree cannot understand.
So, yeah, so the legs and the hands and all the other body parts started complaining. We are doing all the hard work to feed this belly. But it's always the belly that's eating and enjoying. What about us? Right? It's not fair. So they went on a strike. So it's not some concocted story, it is there in the Puranas, in the Shastra. So then what was the consequence? The belly didn't get any food, fine. All the other parts also became very weak. They're almost going to die. And then they understood that we are all working in cooperation so that if we feed the belly, we are also fed, we are also nurtured. We cannot be directly fed food, right? Yatha taron mula vishechanena yachaka bhuja skanda. There is some verse in the Bhagavatam, I forget. So what it means is, another example is given how when we are watering a plant, do we go and water and put manure on each and every part of the plant? Leaves, fruits, flowers? No. How do we feed the plant? By watering the root, giving the fertilizer or the manure to the root. It is the root. From the root, food is transferred in its own way to all the other parts of the plant, and that's how the whole plant is nourished. This is the way, this is the process. But if all the other parts of the plant or the body, if they were to compete with the belly or the root, then nobody will get nourished, right? Similarly, I already mentioned Lord Krishna says we are all parts or parcels of the big body of the Supreme Lord. So we are all, so his parts, we are meant to serve him. If we don't serve in cooperation with his plan, so the Supreme Lord has a big plan. And when we agree to that plan of the Supreme Lord, and when we agree to serve him, then we are satisfied. He is also satisfied, we are also satisfied. But when we don't work with him according to his plan, then when we don't serve him, then neither are we happy, nor is the Supreme Lord satisfied. So this is what is meant by seva or bhakti. Bhakti means devotional service. Bhakti doesn't necessarily mean some kind of a vague emotion that somebody may have or some sentiment. That may be just a um, indicator. In many cases, may not even be an indicator. But bhakti is actually bhakti yoga is a very tangible process. Uh, you know, very nicely explained through the entire Bhagavad and Bhagavatham. This is the very function of the soul. It is not something that is created by anyone. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshje ahaitaki apratihata ayatma suprasidati. Only when this soul, when a jivatma or when a living entity serves the Supreme Lord through the bhakti, only then that Atma will become happy, completely satisfied. There is no other way to satisfy that soul or the bird in the cage I was talking about. This is the only way. And what do we mean by bhakti, right? Bhakti, usually what people take bhakti to be is like, oh, I go to some temple or I worship some devata or some deity. Okay, I have done this puja. Okay, now I'll get this benefit, right? Okay, if I do this puja, maybe I'll get a good bride or a bridegroom. If I do that puja, I may get a good child. If I do that puja, I may get wealth, right? But Bhagavatam says no, this is not bhakti. This is just business. Business transaction. I am giving you this. I'm doing this puja for you. You give me this, right? That is not bhakti. Well, then what is bhakti? Huh? ಅಲ್ಲ ರಾಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ದಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು. That is not bhakti. That is, see, there is karma kanda, there is karma yoga, gnana yoga, then bhakti yoga. So whatever uh, uh, ritualistic worship and processes we are talking about all comes under karma yoga. That is not bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is different. It is purely transcendental or spiritual. It has got nothing to do with material obligations, material goals, aims. No. Just like I just gave an example, right? When these parts, when they understand that, oh, I am a part of this body, I have to serve this belly. That is my dharma. And when I do that, I am also happy, the belly is also happy. So that is that we also need to come to that understanding. That what is my relationship with the Supreme Lord? So after studying all the Vedic literatures, our acharyas have very kindly given us that crystal clear path in three aspects: sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. If we don't understand these three, no matter how much of Vedic literatures we have studied, no matter how much knowledge we have, there's no use. Because sambandha means relationship. Unless we understand our relationship with someone, we will not even be inclined to talk to them in the first place, right? Let's say somebody tells, okay, you have never met this uncle of yours. This is how they're related to you. And maybe some 20 years back you had seen them, and that they're coming to see. So that's why you have to meet them. So then we will be interested. Otherwise, oh, I don't know who they are. Why should I meet them? Why should I? First of all, relationship, right? So what is our relationship with Supreme Lord? Sambandha. Abhideya means what is that process that will help me understand who is the Lord and who am I? Okay, fine. Then, if I do all this, then what is in it for me? Right? That's the big $1,000,000 question. Nobody does anything for free, right? In this world. That's fine. Because why should anybody waste their time or energy? But seeking only material benefit is one thing. We should also do things which give us spiritual benefit. Yes, I may do these things. These don't really give me material benefit, but they give me spiritual benefit. So that is called prayojana. If I do all this, what is it that I'm going to get? Prayojana. Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. This we will learn more tomorrow. And so Sambandha, at least we have touched upon little bit. That is, we are the parts, tiny parts of the Supreme Lord. What is the Abhideya? We are supposed to serve Him. That is bhakti. And what is that bhakti? Like I said, Shravanam Kirtanam, that is Navavidha bhakti. There are so many angas of bhakti, 64 limbs of bhakti, but most important ones are this Navavidha bhakti. Everything is very specific, very clear. There is no room for any speculation, misunderstanding, nothing. Who do we do that bhakti is also specified. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. This is for Vishnu. Why not other devatas? Other devatas can be done, but that comes under karma kanda, karma yoga. If you are interested in bhakti yoga, then this Vishnu. So we will talk about this more.
ಮೂರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಗದ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಂಡಲ ಮಿಶ್ರರಿಗೂ ಶಂಕರರಿಗೂ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಜ್ಞಾನ ಯೋಗ ಅಂಡ್ ಕರ್ಮ ಯೋಗ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅವ್ರಿಬ್ರು ಅದೇ ತಾನೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಂಡಲ ಮಿಶ್ರಸ್ ಅವರು ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಶಂಕರರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಯೋಗನೇ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದಂದ್ರೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಗ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಅದೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಭಾರತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಹೃದಯ ಭಾರತಿ ಶಾರದೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, 14 ವಯಸ್ಸು ಹುಡುಗ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ದಿನ ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ದ 3 steps ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಸೆಡ್ ವರ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಅದ್ವೈತನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಬಟ್ ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ತಾನಾಗೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ನೀವು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗ ನೀವು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, I'm talking about Bhagavadgita.
Bhagavatham.
I'm not talking about any other Siddhanta, but right now I'm only talking about Bhagavadgita.
ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರದು ನಾವು ಶೃಂಗೇರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರದೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಂಡಲ ಮಿಶ್ರ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಶಂಕರರು ಬಂದಾಗ ಕರ್ಮಕಾಂಡ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಭಕ್ತಿಕಾಂಡ ಬಂದಾಗ.
Correct, but I'll tell you one thing. This karma yoga, first karma yoga irodu process hange. It is called as yoga ladder. Adanna 6th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Krishna has very nicely explained. Aru rukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate. Yoga rudhasya tasyaiva shamah karanam uchyate. So one who is just starting in the ladder of yoga, karma yoga, how do you know, right? Everybody comes with different levels of advancement of consciousness. Everybody is not on the same level. We may have all done little some kind of karma yoga or jnana yoga or bhakti yoga from our previous lives, and we carry it on. So Krishna is saying one who is at the starting of the ladder of karma yoga, for him, because he has so many desires, material desires, for him karma yoga is applicable. But one who has no material desires, he's done with everything. For him, he is at the highest. He can actually do pure bhakti. So that is actually the highest. But the problem in Kali Yuga today, tomorrow I'm going to talk about problems of Kali Yuga. Then we will know from Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to know what is the situation of Kali Yuga, why we are all supposed to follow Kali Yuga Dharma. Whether we belong to Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Brahma, Madhva Sampradaya, whatever Sampradaya it could be, there is one Yuga Dharma also. Nobody can escape that. Because what was applicable in Dwapar Yuga is not applicable now. What was applicable? So, in Satya, Treta, Dwapar Yuga, they had that such long lifespans. They could, wait till they're done with Karma Yoga, then proceed on to Jnana Yoga, then proceed on to Bhakti Yoga. In Kali Yuga, we don't even know if we will be alive for 60 years, 50 years. Worst times are coming. It's all already predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam. Not that I'm being pessimistic, but we also need to understand what is the reality and act accordingly. But tomorrow we will see what is the Kali Yuga Dharma, and we have to act accordingly. So, according to Kali Yuga Dharma, there is a Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva Gatiranyatha. This is a shloka from Kali Santarana Upanishad. There is a particular Upanishad for Kali Yuga, how to address this very bewildering age of Kali. So, there is already the process prescribed for Kali Yuga also by none other than Brahma to Narada. So, he is saying in Kali Yuga nothing works. We may do so many yagnas, havanas, homas, pujas, whatever we can do, that's up to us. But it has to be in conjunction with Harinama. Because Harinama is the only medicine for Kali Yuga. Why? Because, when a patient has fever but not so acute fever, the dosage will also be less. And the patient has a very, very high fever, extremely acute condition, the doctor has to give him high dose. So this is the highest dose. So Bhakti Yoga is the highest, but we have no choice in Kali Yuga. We don't have so much time, we don't have so much energy to do all the other elaborate processes. Bhakti Yoga is the most simple, doesn't require any money, any other paraphernalia or resources. At the same time, it's the most sublime. Susukham kartum avyayam. It is very blissful. From the beginning till end is all bliss. It is not like other processes wherein, you have to do so much tapasya, to go to the Himalayas, burn yourself in scorching heat of summer. You have to sit in the midst of fire, or you have to sit in freezing cold ice during the winter. All that is required for tapasya, for jnanis. Who can do all that in Kali Yuga? It's impossible. So who knows better than the Supreme Lord? He knows. He is the creator, he is the Supreme Lord, he is the father of all his children.
You think those people used to sit in the fire or whatever to get that concentration? You think?
Yes. Krishna says that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Their goal is also the same. He's saying, after many lifetimes of all this tapasya.
My question is, so people used to stand on one leg and do tapas. So, but because that probably gave them that, concentration or whatever because we are not able to concentrate. Right?
Correct. But ultimately the same.
About the thing. What I'm saying is,
child stands and does.
no. What I'm saying is, so we are not able to concentrate.
Correct.
We are not able to
Oh no,
concentrate.
Dhruva was in Satyayuga.
Yeah, he's somebody. See, the overall Jnana is first of all.
Different yugas.
Different yugas, different.
Different yuga dharma.
So our Jnana is first of all.
ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿನಾಮಯ
They came like that. They're born like that. So their mutations are different.
Correct, correct.
So ours are all different. They're all ordinary human beings, right? We are not able to concentrate. 5 minute mind is all over the place.
Exactly.
So I'm just thinking, if people do that, like if they really want to concentrate, that 1 minute of concentration, should they stand on their feet? And
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. Bhakti yoga is giving you the highest benefit. At the same time, it is very, very blissful. It doesn't need all that austerity, tapasya.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
that's what I was saying even the other day. The chanting of the holy names of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, Narayana is the highest of all dharma. And for one who is doing that, all rules, regulations, everything is, revoked. No more rules and regulations because a parent is very stringent and disciplining the child until it comes to a stage of maturity and understanding. Once the parent understands, this child has already understood. He is able to manage on his own. He doesn't need my discipline anymore. Then he becomes, very much friendly, and he will not discipline him so much with all rules and regulations. This is the whole program of all the Vedic Shastras is to bring us to the Bhakti Yoga platform. Once we come, that's why in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, the lower you go, there are more and more rules and regulations. Karma Yoga, if you chant the mantra little here and there, you'll get a reverse effect. That we don't even know in Kali Yoga because that purity is not there. But there are so many instances in the Shastra. Once they try to do a yajna we get an enemy of Indra. Just because one syllable of the mantra was not chanted properly, a huge demon came. But that demon, he was going to get killed by Indra. He was called Vritrasura. So all these are there. This is in Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga. Strict rules and regulations. But in Bhakti, very easy.
Bhakti Yoga also includes Jnana. Unless the Jnana comes, where is the Bhakti there?
Bhakti is independent. By doing Bhakti Parishanubhava Viraktiranyatra.
See, Bhakti, you have to worship Lord Krishna, and this is what happens. Jnana is required.
That is there, but that is also Bhakti. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Jnana means when you try to do tapasya, you try to understand the Supreme Lord on your own. That is Jnana. But this is part of Bhakti. We are taking the authority of sadhus and shastras. It is included, but we are not trying to get Jnana on our own. We are only trying to hear. Now we are all hearing. You have some faith that, Lord has already spoken Bhagavadgita. But Jnanis, they go to do tapasya. Right? But their goal is also the same. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. They are doing tapasya for thousands of years just to see that Supreme Lord inside the heart. But we don't have to undergo all that. Just by chanting this.
Okay, you mentioned about happiness, Actually, I wanted to share one sentence. But to summarize the whole thing, it says, there is no harm in seeking happiness if happiness is a real nature. Okay. Now, what is wrong is seeking it outside when it is inside.
Yeah, we don't know where it is outside also, but not in the dead material objects. That is where we are going wrong.
I'm saying instead of seeking outside, you
The
have to seek
happiness is
inside.
inside. Of course,
Inside the
Atma.
Atma.
Yeah, but
Atma
it's
vichara ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ.
correct. Inside is there, but outside, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is there everywhere. He's not just inside. He's outside also. One who comes to that level of consciousness, he sees happiness within and without, everywhere.